Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2018, laws are getting stricter, college tuition is going up and up, and unfortunately, kitchen jars are just becoming harder and harder to open as every year that goes by. But don't just take my word for it. I have my colleague here, Luke, attempt to open just a standard Welch's jam jar. Alright, give that a try, big guy. I think it's jammed. Yep. Good one. Thank you, sir. Now, as you can see, he's a pretty muscular looking guy, and even for him, a little old jar proved to be too much of a task for him to handle. And he's not the only one who struggles with it. I mean, mothers all around the world are struggling to open up salsa jars. Little kids, they can't open up mayonnaise jars to make their sandwiches for lunch, so then they go hungry. I mean, this is just becoming a real problem, and I'm here to fix that today. But before I give you my secrets, tips, and tricks on how to successfully open jars, I would like to dive into the history of the jar. So, the jar was first invented, or innovated you could say, by the Romans in Italy about 2,000 years ago, and I don't have an authentic jar, but you can imagine that it would have looked something like this. Now, I realize this is a butternut, and it's a little bit crazy, but from all the research I've done, all the sources that I've gathered and compiled, they tell me that the first jar would have looked something like a modern-day butternut. So, there's that. And then, flash forward a couple thousand years, to the year 1908, we have the very first jar that was invented in America. It is a Welch's jam jar. It first started in the vineyards of Northern California in a town called Concord. So there's the first one. The second jar we have originated in Paris, France, overseas, in 1910. And this is just a traditional red pasta sauce jar that can be found in most kitchens. Thirdly, we have the white pasta sauce jar. This is another staple. It originated in Tuscany, Italy in 1912. Alright. Fourth, we have the salsa jar, which originated in Chihuahua, Mexico in the year 1919. Now these have these really made their way prominent in America, and they can be found in most restaurant kitchens, home kitchens, and just about every grocery store that you go into. Finally, 1954, Englewood, New Jersey, we have the Hellmann's mayonnaise jar. These are a true staple in every American kitchen, and for good reason too. It's delicious. But what use is all these good salsas and condiments if people can't even get them open? As you can see, my colleague had some trouble, and I'm sure you guys watching this have had some equal amount of trouble trying to get these jars open, and that's where I'm going to come in today. Now that I've given you the history of jars, I'd like to go over the most prevalent reason as to why people can't open these jars. And the main reason being is that the average person just lacks grip strength, they don't have any wrist strength, and when you're opening a jar, that's all it is. I mean, it's a little bicep too, but it's primarily just your grip and your wrist strength. So, if you're at home and you're wondering, how can I strengthen my grip and how can I develop stronger forearms so that I can get these jars open? Well, fret you not. The first thing I've invented is called the forearm donut. Okay, it just kind of looks like a blue circle. It fits in your hand. They come in different colors. They come in purple, green. We even have some red and pink for the ladies or guys, either one. So how you use this is you take it in your hand and then you just give it a nice little squeeze, just like that, and then you hold it for a few seconds and then you release. And you want to do about 10 to 20 repetitions on each arm. So 1, 2, 3, skip forward, 9, 10. And now a lot of people will forget to do both arms. You have to hit the other arm. You don't want to have one massive forearm and then one skinny one. So 10 more reps on this. Alright, Now, once you've graduated from the forearm donut, you're getting into the big leagues. Here's what I like to call Bible curls, alright? So, we're all Christians, we should all have at least one of these in our house, or else you're going to have to see someone else other than me for advice. This is a standard ESV Bible. Now, you're going to want to start with an ESV, English Standard, because for the most part, they're a lot more compact than the other translations. So you're just going to kind of take it in your hand, and then you're going to curl it, just like that. Bible curls. You're going to do one curl for each book of the Bible. Alright? When you get to Revelation, you can stop, and then you got to switch. Remember, we're all about being congruent. Get the other arm nice and slow. Control it. You control that. Book of James. There you go. Now, when you're done with the ESV, you know, you're getting pretty serious. It's time to move on to my personal favorite, the NIV. Now, this one I would not recommend starting with it right off the bat, but once the ESV is just getting too easy, you can move up to the NIV, and don't try and go through the entire Bible first. I would recommend just starting with the Old Testament, you know. There you go. Get the Pentateuch out of the way, and then switch it over. Alright, you get the point. Now at this stage in your forearm building career, if you're curling the NIV at least through the Old Testament, maybe even into the New Testament, you're ready to start opening jars, alright? But you're not just gonna try and muscle your way through it, okay? I mean, I can do it, but that's because I'm me. There's some tips and tricks that I have to show you. So when you're gonna be trying to open a jam jar, the best way to do it that I've found out is you're actually gonna flip it upside down like this, okay? And then you're gonna just give it a nice little tap on the counter, and then bloop, voila, like butter. Alright? The next jar is our red pasta sauce jar. This one was from Paris. And what you're actually going to do is you're going to hold it in both hands, and then you're just going to shake it, kind of like a shake weight. Okay, you're going to shake it about 30, 40 times. And what this is doing is it's building up nitrogen bubbles inside, and then they're going to rise to the top, and you're barely even going to have to, by the time all the bubbles reach the top, I mean, it just floated off. Okay, so the shaking is crucial for the red pasta sauce jars. And now for the white pasta sauce jars. These are tricky. What I like to do is I take just any old rubber band, and I actually just kind of wrap it around the lid like that, and then that's going to give you traction. It's like having four-wheel drive, but on your hand, okay? And then you're just going to give it a little grip, and then effortless. Anyone could do that, okay? And now we're getting into the big leagues. We have our salsa jar. Alright, now this is a two-step process. What you're going to do first is you're going to grab some kitchen salt. And you're just going to kind of shake it on the rim a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then you're going to take a lime. After you've cut that lime in half, you're just going to put it on the top, just kind of like that. And then you're going to pat it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then by that point, it's loosened up. Money, okay? Too easy, too easy. Now, last but not least, we have our homegrown mayonnaise jar. Alright? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a heavy-duty black kitchen mitt, oven mitt. You know, usually take out pizzas, but today we're taking off the top of our mayonnaise jar. This one, that one was a little bit harder. I don't know, let me give it another try. Yeah, so a little practice goes a long way. And those are the 5 most common variations of jars that you'll find in any American kitchen, or if you're European, you'll probably have a few of those. I hope this video was helpful in teaching you guys kind of about the history of jars, how they originated, how they've evolved over the years, you know, from a butternut to a mayonnaise jar. And then you guys can take these techniques that I've taught you and teach them to your friends, your family, you know, your peers. Just keep spreading the good word, guys. Grow those forums nice and strong. Have a great rest of your day.